Hello, everyone. Not really sure how this is going to go today, but first off, welcome into Flying with Mike. It seems like it has been an eternity since I've been on for a variety of reasons. But anyway, I'm glad to be back behind the microphone, even in this sickened case. And if you haven't seen my little message over at Discord announcing this stream, I'll be so kind as to share it here. Hang on a second. Um, Here's what I sent those over on our Discord channel. Just the title, basically, of what we're doing today. And my voice and demeanor, I don't know if demeanor is the right word. Um, um, well, it's just kind of um, taken aback a little bit as a little snot-nosed 2-year-old felt grandpa, aka Papa, needed to share in her cold. So we're going to do our best today. And the little tidbit after that kind of tips where we're going. Maybe I need some of that medicine the natives make where we're going. Jamaica, man. And again, pardon for my voice. It is much deepened today because of sickness and coughing that has just ripped my throat up and down, and it just so much fun. So we are going to do our best because with this flight was requested by one of our YouTube viewers, a flight to Jamaica in a Caribbean airline. I think I met all the boxes. Unless he wanted me to go from a Caribbean island, that would be the only one I didn't, because we are in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, folks. Getting ready to take Caribbean Airlines, November Yankee Tango Alpha Bravo, down to Sangster, which I believe, you all that are from the Jamaica area can correct me, believe that's the main, if you want to put that in quotes, airport down there. There is another one, and on top of my mind, I can't remember the name. I just know it is JP, and that's on the south side of the island. All right, so you've all had a nice little look here. We also have a lot to talk about with this plane here, folks. Aside from the usual that it's free, um, yeah, you heard that right, folks. For the cost of XP12, which is still nowhere near that other one, uh, this continually gets updated and it's free. So it's called the ZIBO mod, and we're going to fly it today, folks. There's been some interesting additions to it. I was going to try to put a video out on YouTube, it just failed miserably. So we finally got it to work, so we're going to give it a try here. So with all that said and done, let's head up into the cockpit, and hopefully the commercial break won't be interrupting us at this moment. So up here in the office, everything looks the same. Um, we have hardly done anything, so you can consider this, what you see here is, pretty much what you're going to do following the checklists. All right. And Hopper 125, welcome aboard. Glad to have you in here, sir, moderating. Hopefully things at work are somewhat on the calm side. All right, and I see I forgot to get my checklist out. So hang on a second. That's not the right checklist. Let's go here, go here. Are you? There you are. Of course, right under my nose. And we'll be back right after the break, and we'll get the ZIBO going. All right, for the rest of you all, you got to hear me mute real quick before I coughed in your ears. let's talk a little bit about the change here at ZIBO. It's quite interesting, actually. You can now, those of you with TOLUS, you know how those work. You hit that init request, flight factor A320, hit that init request, boom, the flight plan comes in, we're ready to rock and roll, pretty much, right? Well, now, ZIBO's in the act. That's right, you heard it. Now, it's a little more involved, and that's why I really want to wait for our followers to get back, because there is a lot to it. Welcome back, followers, by the way. Just telling them there's been a lot of change here. Now, if you're used to TOLUS, you know, with the init request, flight factor init request in the A320, ZIBO has it now. But it works a little different than the aforementioned two, TOLUS and for flight factor. You're gonna have to go to SimBrief. If you don't have an account, then you don't know what I'm talking about, because that's how the init request works in the TOLUS and flight factor. So when you're in there, I now recommend you download the SimBrief downloader. Reason being, you need two files. The ZIBO XML, it's been added to the list of files you can download, and the XML file itself. If you get it just off the SimBrief download list, it's not going to work. But if you get it to where it downloads into the FMS file, where all the FMSs for most aircraft, some have their own, but for ZIBO it uses default. You'll be in great shape, as you'll see here. Now, I'm not going to get into that with this horsey voice, but I am going to kind of walk us through here how it works once it's in place. Hopefully down the road here, once we get past this initial cold that I have and I'm back to my normal stuff, I hope to put out a video. If not, you know, there's plenty. Sky Matrix will walk you through. Oh, excuse me for the sniffles, folks. Sorry about that. We'll walk you through that. So, all right. So there's the prelude of where we're at. Yeah, I know we're looking at an overhead panel, and why? Because it's going to be one of those kind of days. All right, so again, we are going from Fort Lauderdale to Jamaica, Mike Kilo, Juliet Sierra. I believe Sangster is how it's pronounced. If not, have fun, and hopefully it's not a World War being created. I have a whole bunch under me, so you know, who knows. All right, so let's get this bird powered up, okay? So what we do, we have two checklists out there, folks. One directly for ZIBO. I'm trying to get used to it. It kind of a little better, but I use this one. I believe I have it on Nav tab. Let me find it. Charts. Oh, yeah, right here. ZIBO. Hang on, let me back out of here once. There we go. ZIBO 737-800 Concise Checklist 1.1. That one I really like. The other one I'm just trying to get used to. And that's all it is. And until I get used to it, I'm going to stay with this one. Just because, like I said, it's easy. I don't even have to usually refer to it, but it's really well done. You can easily follow it. Here's where we're at. Battery, standby power, ground power, and Hawker. Be gentle with the people you work with and don't crank up that AC/DC music too much. They might get upset with you. I worked in a partitioned office. They were not happy. when you guys crank up the music like that. I see Bad Attitude has joined our Discord, and I lost my Discord channel. Why did I? Well, heck, what did I do? Alright, anyway, I don't know, now it's back. I don't know what I did. Oh well, it's that loosen up behind the wheel, we all know. Alright, so as you can see, there's our first steps here, and then we're just going to close off AvTab, because it's kind of in the way all the time. So let's execute, shall we? Okay, first off, up here at the very top, we'll be back here in a second. You could start here and work your way down. This concise checklist doesn't do a lot up here, so when we come up to align the IRS inertial reference system, we'll do the checks that I do normally. Okay, so here in the middle, battery switch is right here, guarded, standby power guarded, ground power is on, and if you want to check, click it down. And there's the AC/DC switch. I said, Hawker, keep it nice. All right. Let's see. We got the AC/DC switch moved to ground. And now let's head back up and get this started up. Before we mess with this, let's check our flight recorder. Mock airspeed tests. Y'all love to hear these kinds of noise. Oh no, that sounded kind of quiet to me. A second. Yeah, about 50%. That's cool. Alright, so it's not too bad. Y'all can hear it, I guess. Passenger oxygen normal, lights out, and we've got adequate oxygen. This is, as it says, crew. This is not what's in the back. Hang on a second. So we got 3 green. We got a dome light that's off, service interphone that's off. Our engine reverse, when we go into reverse on our landing, these will light up. Our EECs, EEC stands for electronic engine controls. They show on, although they're very weak, but they are on. Then I go check our devices. Everything's retracted. ELT, armed, guarded. Move your display select switch to heading status. We'll show you why here in a second. Those of you used to flying with Mike already know the reason. And then we're going to align the IRS on DC. Good, good. Align and align. Nav, nav. This number 6 is the number of minutes till the system is aligned. So you have 6 minutes to work with before it's going, hey, we need a fix. Where are you at? So, again, sorry for the sniffle in your ears, folks. I'm really trying not to. So, alright, so moving down. We've got the IRS started. And no, they're not coming for your assets, folks. It's just the inertial reference system. Flight controls, all our switches are guarded. Nav controls are basically, you just come down this side. Now, this part is not on my concise checklist. This is, by the way, not mine. Someone graciously made this, and it's fantastic. But it is on the ZIBO one, and I do check these. So normal for your navigation, normal for your displays, and auto. Got your blue lights. Now we'll do a quick crossfeed check. Take it turn it on so the lines are aligned. Just kind of follow how the piping looks here. See how we got a light blue? We're going to look for it to turn off when it's off. Boom, worked. Fuel pumps all off. Going back up again, checking everything. Ground power, battery. Okay, now the cabin utility, IFE. Now we're back to the checklist. Okay, keep coming down, making sure everything is guarded. Guards are on. Okay, we're down to here. Coming down the middle, set your lighting. Exhaust, equipment cooling, supply and exhaust are in emergency lights armed. Seatbelt sign on. Go ahead and turn your fasten seatbelt sign on. Check your things. Window heats are on. Lights are off. Anti-ice is off. Engine 1, engine 2, hydraulic pumps on. Electrics off. So the two outers are on, the two inners are off. Walk it right down. This is your main door. This is your cargo doors. These are your door lights. Coming down some more, turn your trim air on so the plane starts cooling. And not bad. And today's flight, 37,000, so we'll set 38. And we'll set it right now for 50. Okay. The basics are set up, folks. The only thing we have left to do now is start working the fuel into the aircraft. So, to do that, real quick. Oh, we're in kilos, aren't we? Say that? It sure did. Hang on a second, folks. General? Yes. Okay, back. Check some. Sun is really killing me on this thing, folks. Okay. Oh, when we restarted, it should take the changes. Okay, well, we should be fine. So we'll read pounds now. And we have a different payload here. You have 160, can go to 180, 187, or the maximum that you can cram in a 737-800. 189 people sitting there with their legs tucked up to each other, arms tucked in, and going, oh my God, this is such a tough flight. Probably 4 abreast in a little minuscule row. No. Oh, anyway, we'll keep it in the 160. We're not running that heavy today, so why not? All right, because here's what we're going to do. Click payload total. And you know, I have not pre-flighted or pre-briefed this, so bear with me a second here. We're 23,200. That in. And we'll wait for the zero fuel weight to adjust. And there we go. All right, so this is a good holding. Actually, no, it's not. Stand by. Let's get the fuel going. I don't know why I clicked that button, folks. Sorry about it. Fuel for today, 14,434. Enter. To fuel, click the fuel truck.
Flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
And you can see the guy right out here doing his thing. Alright, now is a good point to do a pre-brief. And I do apologize. We should have done that a little earlier, but trying to get going before my voice just completely goes. That's all you get today. Oh, look at that loveliness out there, folks. Huh, I just read your message there, B4 Attitude. And interesting, what he sent me. There's a new plugin called SimBrief 2 ZIBO. So basically, you open it in X-Plane and download and install the latest SimBrief flight plans without downloading it. Interesting. I'll have to give that a try on the next flight here with this plane. That is something interesting to look into. All right, let's get into this here. Let me get SimBrief up on my side. There we go. Okay, so what you got here, you see the weather, the rain on the windshield. Yeah, it's all right there. So we're going to come out, hang right, and fly down the coast towards Jamaica. ADS here. Winds are 130 at 11, hence the runway 10 left departure. 10 miles of visibility and a ceiling at 6,000 feet. Okay, pretty normal this time of the year. So looking good there. And finally 3000. Okay, let's go back, see what's happening in Jumbo. Now have an ADS. Compliments of VATSIM being up. They're calling it 090 at 17, gusts to 23, 3 miles in range. Why is theirs so much different? Let me go see something. They're basically taking the METAR. So the METAR that we saw earlier or just a few seconds ago must not match, because this is pretty close to it. Now the ceiling is at 3,500. Instrument conditions because of 3 miles visibility. So 2998. Arrivals expect 10 left or right, depart 10 left, 10 right. Simultaneous operations in use. Let's see. All aircraft, okay. Hazard weather available. Sea dumped, okay. And numerous birds. Okay, I haven't had any trouble with that one. All of a sudden, I'm seeing a lot of talk in the different aircraft that I have. Fearless. Talking about integrating with bird strikes and all. I'm like, I haven't even seen a bird in X-Plane, so I don't get all of that. And we got to have Alpha. Okay. Now let's see what's in Jamaica, Mon. 080 at 18, so it's also a windy, breezy day down there. And just a few pesky clouds at 2,200 feet. But overall, a gorgeous tropical Caribbean day.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up.
And a nice Q&H, so we're good to go. And thanks, Fuel Truck, for giving us some go-go juice. And loadout today, as you already know, 116 peeps. They're signing their non-disclosure agreements. 23,200 pounds. Zero fuel weight of 18,243 pounds. And got 14,434 pounds uplift from the fuel truck. Okay, we're going to go out with a cost index of 30. No, we're not going to go out with a bang, folks. Sorry. And flight level 370. All right, so there you have it, folks. And I know y'all are curious, so let's bring it up here. In. All right, so for today, we are parked up here in Terminal 2. We're hopefully just going to push back, go down Tango, Tango 1, Bravo 12, and away we go. Who knows? All right. As we all know, most plans I make usually get turned around. Okay, so for departing 10s, we're going to basically meet up at Dreads and work our way around, as you see. Gateway at 10,000, then on our way to Reggae, Nino, Cruisin, Glams, Elrod, URSUS, what I call it. All right. So if we get the 10 right, like we're, wait a minute, are we looking for 10 right? No, 10 left. Oh, we're coming up this way. My bad. Let's rephrase this all, folks. We're going to go Murray. We're going to all meet up at Pastille at or above 10,000 feet. Okay. Murley, Beals, Zombie, and then follow the course out. My bad. I had us going the wrong way. Looks like we're going to have a fun trip here, folks. Pilot doesn't even know the right way to go yet. Hey, too much of that Jamaican rum. Anyway, radar required, jet only, and this is an RNAV departure. Yes. Okay, and there's our departure frequencies. We're at 65 feet above sea level here at Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood Airport. And no, we're not in California. All right, let's lost it. There you are. All right, there we go. So let's get back into it. So, during all of that, our IRS is going, hey, when are you going to come back and talk to me? Because we need your position right now. Okay, come up here. Position KFLL. And blink. Next page. I can't remember if it's odd or even day. I go with the right side on even days, left side on odd days. Back, put that in, route, put that in, and we are aligning. Let's show you this. Okay, here's how you know you're aligned. Two ways. First, up here, it's going to look like this, but if you go back, the coordinates. I can hear your, I'm back in my calm state. It looks like it should now. So now we're back to the coordinates. This was showing your heading, currently facing 147, and the status of your code for your IRS display. I don't know what a 24 is, so, but I'm pretty sure it's okay. Wind, then our coordinates. We also can get our track GS, and of course we can always do a test. And it's not a test of the emergency broadcast system, it's a test of the IRS system. We have not taken enough money out of your wallet yet, so please stand by while we do. All right, so IRS is currently aligned. We haven't put anything in per se towards route, performance, or SID star combinations. That's to come. All right, so let's continue on. We need to check up top here for our probe heat. Probe heat is still off. And here we are set with our hydraulics. And we can move on down. We've done all of this already, but we're going to double check. Everything looks good. Lights are set for logo, and steady is down. If we go 2 clicks up, will have the strobe lights on. All right, now that with us being fueled, we can enter our route, which is what everyone wants to see here. All right. This is the new thing, and if you're not a ZIBO fan or haven't flown the plane in a while, you may not catch the difference right off the bat. But I'll clue you in on it right here. This was never there. This was, we always had company route. We could put that in. We could get our route put in there minus SID star runway information, but we had the route, but we never had the ability to just go click. I know, we're waiting. It could probably type out company route just as quick. Boom, that's what you're looking for. Route uplink ready. What it has done is it's loaded your route. Once you do load, always look for load, activate, and the execute buttons. If something doesn't look right, always look for a load, an activate, or a yellow light here. Okay, always. I don't care what plane you're in. Always look for that. Okay, so we can clear that off, clear that up, activate, execute, boom, everything's in. Look at that. Look at this. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. K, J. All right, so with that, all we have to do now, go here. Now we planned 14 point, stand by before I misspeak. I think it was 14.4. 14.4. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the plan, just because I don't like empty fields. I'm just that kind of person. I'll go ahead and put the 0 fuel weight in, but we're going to do a perf request anyway. And look at that, we're going to be able to do that as well. TOLUS guys know about this one. It's been a while since I've flown the Flight Factor A320. Possibility it's in there too. Again, look for the load. And so it's got everything in here, our flight level, our fuel, our 0 fuel weight, and now we have to put in the reserve. All right, now as you all know, I'm going to bring up Sim Toolkit because it's the easiest animal out here to work with this. Okay, there's Sim Toolkit. I'll get NavGraph off in a second. Now, you can add NavGraph here, turning this more into a one-stop planning shop. This little cog here. You can add it. You can add SimBrief. May have to log into it again, but you can have it right here. Let's go to View. All right. If you all remember, I like to have my reserve so I have enough fuel to get where I'm going. Okay, we've already got that planned. That's right here. Did it again. Right here. However, for my reserves, I want to make sure I can make my alternate. So, real quick, let's get down here to Jamaica, man. Okay, we're going into here. So I want to make sure we have enough fuel to go from here to here. Plus 45 minutes of fuel. Otherwise known as FAA Reserve. The military, for those of you, correct me if I'm wrong. I really would like to be if I'm saying something wrong here, folks, because about 70 to 80% thinking I'm right. Joker fuel is what I'm going with. You still have enough fuel, but you need to be working. Bingo means you need to start getting your butt on the ground. You're getting very close to out of fuel. But it's been a long time since I've actually had to plan Joker, bingo, and all of that in the military. Granted, it's not a military flight, but trying to help people from different aspects of the flight sim world relate. So how do I do this real simply? Oh, it's so simple. From your sim brief generated flight plan. Now, if you do the default, it is a piece of cake because it actually tells you. Here, you got to just do a little massage work, if you will. And it's not much. All right. Okay, so our reserve, 45 minutes. Drop the last two numbers unless you got to round up. So 3.3, 2.2. Because there's what it's going to take to get to your alternate. Now I know the name of it. So 5.7. That's what I'll put in there, folks. Real simple. Again, just on that fuel page. And if you use the default, it's a piece of cake, folks. It's right under your fuel. It'll actually say FMS reserve alternate or alternate plus reserve, something like that. That's what you want to use. Execute. And there you go, folks. Cost index all looks good. Transition looks good. And now here it doesn't help us a lot. We got to kind of play here. So it gets a little tough here. However, there is a couple of utilities out there. There is a free one. Of course, I use the one that you got to pay for. Go figure. All right, it's called TopCat. Takeoff and landing performance calculation tool. That's what it's called. Now, pardon me while I get this moved over. See, nope, not yet. Hang on. Had to finagle my windows a little. Okay, that should be good enough. Okay. All right, so what I've done here, folks, is basically loaded the plane to our 0 fuel weight. From to all that good stuff here. So we're set. Only thing, oh, I see, I forgot the fuel. Great job there, Mav. If you haven't seen Top Gun, you don't know that. Where that line is. Assembly 7958. Thought I had all of this loaded, folks. That's what I get for always thinking. 500. All right, so, hey, you can see, pretty close, huh? The neat thing about this tool, hang on, get it to where I can see. There we go. Just making sure. Got these nice tabs across the top. Click takeoff. Remember, it's called a takeoff and landing performance calculation tool. Set up for Microsoft products, but you know what? It really does a good job in X-Plane. It may be off, but folks, it is not going to be off by much. All right, so all I've done is change the runway to our 10 left. There's your particulars. Now, if you know that it's shortened or length or either end, you can put the foot here. If you know you have an MEL, I don't know if it has any. No, there are none. You could put those in if there were some. Okay, let's update the weather. Update. There we go. Ooh, save. Wrong button. All right. 090, it's 17. It's 24 degrees here, 10:15, or 29:98. I'm going with a wet runway. Okay. And because of that, we're going to run with engine ice on. Just in case we have some hail, ice crystals, or anything like that in the air as we climb through the clouds. All right. So, all we do now, with all of that looking right, compute. All right, now, here's what I'm going to run with. It says we'll go with a select here of 48. However, let's start up here. Take off 2, so we'll select that one. Come down to 48. And basically what we're telling the engine to do is operate the engine in a manner where we're only getting 22,000 pounds of thrust. I believe that's the 22K. So basically, instead of 100%, and by the way, they can go over 100%, folks. You're pulling it back to, in this case, your N1 speeds are 87. You're pulling them back so you can save wear and tear on them. Folks, those are multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment out there. You don't want to fail. You don't want to have to constantly maintain. So you don't want to constantly run it at the max. Airlines aren't like the military where money grows out of the ground and into a tree full of money. They still are, as much as you want to grumble at them, they still are working on very tight margins. So you want to run an airline, go right ahead, and you can tell me that I'm wrong. I'll take it every time. And no one's come back to tell me I'm wrong. But in this case, we're going to be at 89% power. 87 is what ZIBO's percent. So you see what I'm saying? We're pretty close right now. Okay, so that's the first part. What's our N1 limit? So when we're taking off N1, that green dot's going to be at about 87.6 up here. See how it's even set. So it's all set and ready to go for it. All right, let's go to the next page, takeoff. Again, the performance init didn't take this into account. Will it? I don't know. Would be real nice if the performance page on the EFB included this part of it. I get it, but I don't, because it's your plane, you know, and I do realize it means a lot of physics. You got to know a lot of stuff about the plane to be able to provide this data right here. All right, especially since most pilots don't even go to page 2. I am. Show you how easy it is. Okay, runway, wind. Well, we already told you that. 090, diagonal, 17. Okay, this is the one that gets a lot of pilots. Folks, if you don't know how to put it in, look, it even helps you out. Diagonal runway heading. You can get that off SimBrief. You can get that off the map feature. You can get that right here on TopCat. There's a lot of places to get that, folks. Get that off the chart. However, to enter the slope, again, I want to thank Bad Attitude for this. He really, it was so simple. That's the problem. It's those so simple things I can't figure out. Hang on a second. We need coffee. No, it's not mixed with rum. Sorry, folks. All right, so the slope here is positive. Okay, well, this one's simple. It's positive, which means up, negative, which means down. And we just went to a commercial break. So we'll just keep going because this one's pretty simple. we can just skip it and go /096. Okay, and again, wet runway, so just click your line select key to wet. Everything else here is fine. Let me see how much longer we have. We'll be out in about 20 seconds, folks, so bear with. We'll hold right here and show them what we did. So again, hope y'all are having a great Tuesday. It's been an interesting weekend and day at work yesterday. Hence the late start, always, you all know that. Welcome back, followers, from the commercial break. Real quick, to wrap up what we did here, if you look over here at TopCat under slope, it's positive 0.0. There's no slope. Positive means up, negative means down. Unfortunately, there is none here, so what I did is just simply put in the slash and the heading of 096. Plugged it in here, went up to this line, clicked the line select for wet, and we're ready to go, folks. Now, let's go back to next page. So we're now back at 1. Again, remember, our flaps are 1. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Now, here we go. Zooming in, see if that helps. All right. Just look here, folks. That's not what I wanted. Hang on. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. I got to recompute. Hang on. All right. So wet runway. We do have that described. 133, 134. 31's not bad, folks. Rotate 141's what ZIBO came up with in the computer. TopCat 142, again, not bad. And V2, match. Booger, doing that like that, that's not nice. We'll go with 142, what's 1 knot? And we'll go with 131, again, what's 2 knots? So there you go, folks, ZIBO. Again, very close here. Now, the other interesting thing you get here is the margin, meaning how much runway. Bookmark that, folks. 1043, 1,043 feet of runway. So we're going to eat up most of this 9,000 foot runway. I really don't think we will, but let's see how close we come to. All right, and finally, if you don't want to see this intermediate numbers that we used to populate over here, just click it here and they disappear. Oh, I went way too far. Sorry, folks. Let's get some lights on in here since we are on the ground. Get some background and get some flood up here. Hang on, let's go down here, do the same for these. All right, and pop that to there. All right, and just getting my radios in a position. All right, real quick. You all were going, he forgot to do a fire check. Okay. All good. And squids. Good. All right, we're all good, folks. That, folks, brings us to firing up the APU. And Hawker, be gentle with the co-workers in your office space because we will have to touch the AC/DC switch. Watch the EGT here. It'll start spooling in a minute. Okay, and up it goes. And basically what we're waiting for is it to fall back, stabilize, and the blue light to come on. And all that's going to say is your APU gen is ready. Okay. And the bleed is on. Pressures are up. And rounding this out, folks, okay, oh, we forgot one. Hang on, sorry, Hawker, forgot that. Now play with your AC/DC music. Sorry, folks. Thought the cough was over, and of course not. Okay, just getting things set up here. All right, so flight director's on. Speed. What I set is V2, which is 145. Do I still have that up? Yes, I do. Okay, so I set it for 145 plus 10. Why plus 10? Because it's so easy to remember. That gives me plenty of a margin and yet still a decent climb. We all know the runway heading, 096. And we're going up to 57,000. All right, and finally, we need to get our fuel rate, flow rate reset. Do a quick light test. Okay, and basically you're just making sure all the bulbs are lit. Fuel flow set. All right, minimums. I'm going to come back to this one because I think we can set... no, we can't. We'll have to back out. All right. All right, so we... Oh. That to be... Oh, we'll go borrow. Let's go up to 60. Right where I really wanted it. Okay. All right, we got that set. Now the neat thing is, folks, whoops, dang it, I'm so used to other planes. It sets automatically over here. And we said 2998. 2998. Landing gears down, 3 green, spoilers down, flaps up and up. Cut off on the fuel. Takeoff warning good. And radios are good. No, we're not. Lauderdale. I don't know if the chart will tell me. Nope. And one other piece to get going called the ACARS system. Just waiting on it. There it is. All right, and we are set up successfully on the ACAR system. All right, not the ACAR system the controllers can talk to me with. The ACAR system for Mac Air. Hey, Matt, how are you? Welcome aboard 1997 Air. And folks, we are just about ready to go. I am going to go ahead. Be right back. One moment, folks. Alright folks, sorry about that. Ran and got some cough drops. I had to use the restroom real quick. But yeah, we're getting ready to go here. So bear with me there all. I do appreciate you being a part of the Flying with Mike, even though I am a tad bit under the weather, so to speak. Alright, so we're ready to board. Engine starts and yaw dampers can come on. Alright, so we can come up here, turn the yaw dampers on, we're ready to go. And what you're hearing in the background, folks, is cough drops. I'm trying to ease up this cough that keeps hitting me. Did I turn that on? No, I did not. There we go. We're just waiting to hear everybody's on board. There she is. All right.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
It's a neat feature. It is built in here. If you do decide to get better pushback,
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving
you can actually use it within ZIBO, or come up here to plugins and you can see better pushback in all those same items. I am going to try something here, folks. Let me see if that is not seeming to want to work. Oh, it did. I'm liking Nightbot already. All right, so we're hooking up.
All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Nope, he took the chocks off for us. So if we look around, we're going to see they're hooking up. All the chocks are removed, cones are removed. We're just waiting to pull the jetway back. So let's go ahead, close up that main door.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today. We're wrapping up the final paperwork here to get you on your way momentarily. We want to thank you so much for your company and business. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Again, welcome aboard.
All right, beacons on. All right, let's walk through a couple things here real quick. Okay, to start this aircraft, first you gotta have either the APU on, bleed on, pressure, but you gotta turn your packs off. You need over 40. Okay, I thought it was over 40, but you need over 30. We'll put it that way. Fuel pumps all on. And then you can tell him we're ready to push by turning the brakes off. Hang on a second. But put that one on engine. Brakes off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Let's crank them. We'll start number 2. Okay, we're waiting for N2 here to hit 17, but stay under 25 to hit the fuel switch to idle, which we just did, from cutoff to idle. Looks like we have a good light up. And at around 50, the start valve will close. Then we're going to begin to stabilize. Okay, it looks stable. So let me back out a little, go up top here. And all you're doing is moving it 1 to the left to GRND. And again, as soon as we get between 17 and 25 here on N2, we take it from cutoff to idle. Fuel. And if we look up top here, we can see the EGT, which is your exhaust gas temperature. N1, that's...
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, he's done. Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay, he's going to take and show us the pin over here. Okay, everything is stabilized. Alright, so folks, we are now started. Unlike Airbus, we don't have a switch to turn back to normal if conditions warrant.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Wow, I didn't even realize I was still muted, folks. Sorry about that. So yeah, there you go for the engine start. Thanks for flying with Mike, by the way. There, better pushback. And pitot heats are on. Engine ice on. Hydraulic pumps are on. And we need to move the AC-DC switch one more time. We'll go to Gen 2 today. Hang on a second, folks. I told him when I left, I don't store things at work. Anyway, it is science lab day to find out how many science experiments exist in a work refrigerator. If you don't know the word science experiment, some very nasty stuff growing in many work refrigerators that every now and then needs to be cleaned out. Okay, sorry for all that little rattling noise. Trying to get these cough drops so I can talk decently. Okay, so we're going to keep the wing ice off, engine on, hydraulic pumps on. Bring our bleed air back on. and we can now shut the APU down. All right, so let's get ready to taxi. Flaps 1. Okay, taxi lights as required. Okay, up to the top here. Engine switches now 1 click to the right to continuous for our starters. Back down here, auto brake, reject takeoff, position lights. And a little further down, sorry folks, had a hide alerts at work, and if you guys at work are listening to Flying with Mike, which we would love for you to be doing, I just hit all those alerts because I don't want to see all those people telling me, save it, save it, save it, save it, I haven't seen how much mold grew yet. And of course, with the way my voice is, that probably really sounded bad. Oh, we do have one more thing here to do. Check our control surfaces. And the elevator. First floor. And let's just make sure we're looking good. Okay. To the 10s. You off. Oh, gotta go that way. Sorry, folks. And taxi lights. Flaps 1. Flaps 1. Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and start a timer. Away we go. It's kind of funny. I say all of that and then all of a sudden my wife's goes off. Are they texting her now? Oh. Alright, we are out of here, folks. Let's go to the land where they make rum. Now, I'll be totally honest, I'm not certain this airline is still in operation. I couldn't find this flight in the real world coming out of Fort Lauderdale. But it does show in the all-intuitive Wikipedia that Fort Lauderdale is a destination of theirs. So I really don't know if they're still in ops. The other one that shocked me, I couldn't find any Air Jamaica flights. So I'm thinking they may not have made it through COVID. Excuse me. All right, let's do our takeoff checks again. Engine starts. Continuous. Where are we at here? Runway, turnoffs, position lights, ATC, TC, RA. RA. Dun, 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 dun. We'll go weather radar. Let's see. Ooh, we do have some weather here. And some terrain features. Actually, let's widen the scope out on that. There we go. and LNAV, VNAV, LNAV, VNAV, and normally a clearance out of, now we're not going to be on VATSIM, folks, mainly for the professionalism. I'm showing in that I don't know how much my voice and how well I'll sound to them, so we'll stay offline to be safe. So let's see here. Auto brakes rechecked, and heading bug set for the runway. It is. Now, takeoff clearance would be RNAV to somewhere. Now, it's going to be either early, reels, zombie, or pastel. Meaning, okay, what does that mean? RNAV to pastel, we'll just say PASTL. That means you are cleared to fly the RNAV to. That does not mean you're cleared to just go direct. You fly the RNAV to that point. Sometimes it's just RNAV to, like, if you're going the other way, Dreads or Merlee, but they may clear you all the way to Pastel, meaning you fly the route to Pastel after your initial contact. You still got to tell them you're airborne, folks. All right, we are getting to the end of the runway. Yeah, no, it's not liking me telling it that we got anti-ice on above 10, 13 degrees, something like that. Each update that comes out from X-Plane, the clouds look that much better from the ground. The sky, hard to tell. All right, we have reached that proverbial end of the runway. Now, technically, your hold short might have been right there, folks. That's your ILS hold. But obviously the real hold short is here, but the ILS is when they're in conditions like this, where they need the ILS to be available. All right, and we're cleared for takeoff. Direct RNAV, direct Pastel. All right, so lights. Okay, RNAV, VNAV, auto brake set, blank, and alright, again, remember, this is a pain always, but 2 clicks up on the position, and you've got the position lights and strobes.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
All right, that's what we want to hear. Timer on. Again, this is if you get clearances, folks. 10 minutes after departure, expect flight level, blah, 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 blah. That's where you get it, right here on your timer. Let's go up to 60%. Toga switch. And sorry for that cough in your ears, was not intentional.
$80 knots. Positive rate. $1,000.
All right, folks. Sorry about that. Had a coughing spell there. Oh, man, it's cold. All right, we are going to probably be pretty quiet from here all the way over to Jamaica. I haven't even looked to see what current ATC is up. Pretty sure I saw Miami Center up, but they may be down for all I know. But to be safe, I am going to stay offline. It wouldn't be fair to the controllers, pilots to hear this lovely raspy voice. And thank you for those of you sticking around to enjoy the flight. All right, flaps up, brakes off, and auto brake set. Engine starts will remain in continuous while we're in the soup. And there we go. Do we have anything else to worry about? Nope. Altimeter is at 10,000. Okay, take off and taxi lights off. We'll get the rest at 10,000. And folks, we're on our way. Again, thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike. If you like what you've seen and heard, I am going to try here in the next few days, maybe couple weeks, put together how to use that FMS or that new flight plan init button in the FMC, from flight setup to flight inside the FMC, and that will in itself be a tutorial. But this flight was pretty close to that, with being, starting it up from the gate. So I hope you enjoyed it, hence the lengthy time on the ground. But we got about an hour to get over to Jamaica and set up for hopefully what looks like a beautiful approach. Let's just make sure we're following our route. You can see the weather is painting. Again, would be nice if it was the oranges and the reds instead of the greens, but I don't know who's steering this. But there were some bad accidents because pilots couldn't discern severity through this method. So we'll see. Talking real world, not sim. Alright, folks. So, like I said, for now, we're going to go quiet. We're going to go ahead and do our 10,000 foot checks. basically lights off. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the engines out of continuous back to the off or auto position, depending on your version. And we're going to just set up for a cruise climb now to 37,000 feet. So again, thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike. Folks, if you're over on the YouTube channel, folks, don't forget about our YouTube channel. Here, oh, not working. Okay. All right, and I'm kind of glad we're on the good old VATSIM, because I got a feeling the system is working way too hard. All right, so if you're on the here and you're missing out on some things, check us out over at YouTube, folks. All of our videos are there, and they are not edited. So if it took 6 hours to get somewhere, guess what? It's gonna be a 6-hour-long video. So, and we do that intentionally. I don't want you guys to miss out what was over here. And I know some of you go, could you please cut them down? I get both sides of the pendulum, so it's one of those things called a command decision. Right or wrong. And if I had any beef with ZIBO, it's the not being able to pull these out so we could see. I know the realism. I get it. Oh, we've gone into hyperspace, folks. Oh my goodness. And if you don't know the reference, folks, go watch Star Wars. Alright, folks, sorry for that. Gotta love colds. Love to hate them. But again, folks, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike. So, alright, I am going to, as I've indicated, I'm going to go quiet now. We're through all the major stuff. Going to kind of let the music take over. And we'll see you in a few. Currently estimating 1 hour to Sangster. And over here, hang on a second, let's look at our FMCs real quick. Well, we still got 80 miles top of climb, so probably at about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, we'll run through a quick down and dirty arrival brief, make sure we're set up for the best runway there. Meaning, if that sims up, we'll use their ADS, but if they're not, we'll come up with the best runway to arrive in there. So, we'll see you then, folks. Enjoy the music. All right, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Top of climb at cruise. Setting up for 0.76. I'm okay with that. And top of descent in 294 miles. So let's make sure we're set and ready for this. Top of descent now 293. It's showing up here in cruise as well. All right, so let's go to our departure arrival page. Now, our arrival should be in there. Hang on just a second. With this cold, you never know when the nose needs to be blown. All right, so we're on the departure arrival page. Go to arrivals. And I'm going to bring charts in now. Now, we're going to use the standalone. I had a feeling. Okay, no biggie so far. Let's go a little bit over. There we go. The reason I really is this right here. Always in the way. All right, so we do have the Leonard 7 arrival. That is what we're scheduled for. You see it up here. Right here on charts. Go here. Here's the current METAR as of 51 minutes ago, 100 at 15, a couple of clouds at 2,200 feet, but it's 30 degrees Celsius. Folks, you're going to have a great time chasing that rum down. Just kidding. All right. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now, I have went in and got our approach set up. You can see we do have an RNAV, but folks, in our current approach, it's really not all that great for us. So let's take a look at the LENAR real quick. We're coming in on ADSEL. So we're coming down this radial to Sangster. So let's go ahead, come down. Well, we'll get that in a second. We'll get the radio here in a minute. Because we're going to be doing a see down here, VOR DME approach. Okay, this thing, folks, if you're in instrument training, please disregard most of what I'm going to say because I really don't know how to fly a VOR approach. Other than track the VOR and try to be at the altitudes it tells you to on the chart. Beyond that, folks, please do not take this as a training aid to the real world. I say that, folks, because we actually do have some pilots in training here. And I don't want what I say to confuse them because I'm here to tell you, just took an FAA test of my own, well, kind of, sort of, for airport. I don't even know what AAAE stands for anymore. But anyway, I let the flight sim mess with my mind, and oh, it messed me up big time. Separate the two when you're in flight training, folks, in a room. Really, it really does help. I know we say it's as real as it gets here, but separate the two. All right, enough said. So ADSEL into 13 miles from Sangster, VOR 15.7. We're going to enter an 11-mile DME arc. Okay. Now, we can actually check this, but we're going to fly the VOR DME 7. So we'll click that. We're not going to transition on Sangster. You'll see why here in a second. And remember, I told you, look for activate, load, execute. And you saw the little yellow light, execute. If things aren't looking right, check them. Okay, so here we go. Where is all the instructions? Oh, here they are. So altitude here. Transitions 18,000. It's a VOR DME. So folks, just about any kind of plane could fly this. DME arcs and holds are based on Sangster VFR. Or VOR. Blah. Sorry. Again, as we all know, 250 below 10,000. So this is a pretty much general all aircraft from very first generation VOR guys to today's RNAV master, you know, where you just fly, and it flies. Okay, and here's your directions, folks. ADSEL to Lennar, radio 320 to distance 300, right turn to via DME distant arc 11 to Lennar, and there's where we'll turn into Gaddon. And now let's pull up the VOR chart. Okay, here's the actual approach. Trying not to waste too much time here because we got a lot of things to check over. ATIS, approach, tower, ground. Okay, we're not online. I'm not gonna be online, folks, sorry. Unless I hear, we're gonna have pilots and all there, I'm gonna just stay offline, save my voice. The VOR is what we're gonna use for our localizer that you're used to. You know how the localizer is usually different? We're going to track the VOR there on the airport. 115.7. Our approach course 71. Okay, first off, at Lennar, 3,000 feet. That's your initial fix. So we'll be slowed to probably 180 to 210. As we come around the horn headed to Gaddon, I'm going to have a slowed to 160 at Gaddon. Okay, 2,000 feet. We just saw that up here. Plus, we should be descending on a glide slope here. Now, there is no physical glide slope you're going to use. You're going to be, as you see here, following this chart down to 1,100 by 4 miles out. Then down to the missed approach point, which is 1.5 miles out. And then you got to have the runway in sight, folks, because you're going to see the minimums here in a second. Scroll back up. It's going to tell you they're down at the bottom. We're 4 feet above sea level, 5 feet for the runway. Missed approach, you can see how that's going to be. Get to go out, do the 11-mile DME arc back, and try again. Makes sense considering, you got other traffic coming in. All right. 18,000's transition level. All right. Some altitude ideas to be at 5 miles, be around 1672, 4 miles, 1344, 1016, and 688 at 2 miles. A lot of people think, in the U.S. don't like this chart. I actually like it. Really helps me gauge, especially on an approach like this. So for a 3-degree glide slope, now we don't know what our approach speed is yet, but I'm going to bet you it's close to 1.4. So if we do 743 feet a minute down the glide slope, we should meet the requirements for the 3 degrees. And it should take us about 1 minute 56 seconds to reach the missed approach point. So again, we may have to interpolate depending on what we're actually going to have for a ground speed, but call it 2 minutes, folks. If we don't see that runway, we are on the go. Okay, we are Class C, so 610 feet MSL for our ceiling, or 605 feet. Okay. Anything below that, we can't fly this, folks. And look, it even goes up for the bigger planes. Okay, now we're allowed 2.6 kilometers. And it's a little different if we don't have approach lights. Speaking of which, we have South and Pappy's should be visible on the left side. And there's our DME arc. There's our chart, folks. So what I'm going to do is kind of transition a little here. Up, 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 up. I want to go to plan. Now, why am I on this? Well, because when I click legs, and no, we're not going to listen to ZZ Top. If you don't know, they made a great song called Legs. And then we gotta bring down the range a little. Hang on. Okay, so here you go. There's where our 13-mile point. Then we enter the arc, intercept to Lennar. So we're going to fly that arc to Lennar and then down here to, not sure why we're bypassing it, but to Gad, this is expecting an overfly. I'm not planning it, but okay. Then R4 and so forth. Okay, I was looking to make sure we had no discontinuities. We don't. Good. Back to legs. Let me just reset everything real quick. Alright, and we do have a little weather ahead of us. Okay, so that takes care of the charting. Hopefully you all saw all of that. Alright, real quick, I want to get my heading squared away just in case I missed anything. When you hear someone say, my FMC just did something I wasn't expecting, make sure your heading is always on your route so you can punch that heading select. And all you got to do, folks, is then calmly figure out what's going on. Listen to the controller, ask for a vector if need be to your next fix. See what's going on in your FMC. It's not a panic situation, folks. It just means you probably set it in either on the fix to your last one, and it's looping you back to that, or you hit a discontinuity and it doesn't know what to do. So, now there's some times where it's really confuscated and who knows. But that's how you easily get around this. And charts is your best friend in this case. Let me show you why. We bring it up. When that happens, if you happen to have this lovely program, okay, great. All I have to do is click this icon here and it puts it on my map. You look at that. It shows me what's ahead of me, and I can actually fly this magenta here instead of panic. And then, of course, it's overlaid here so I can watch it as we progress in. Pretty neat tool, folks. I highly recommend it. All right, we do have one thing over here to take care of.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, we've leveled off now at our cruising altitude.
Those clouds.
We're going to go ahead and turn off the fasten seatbelt sign. I'd like to kindly ask if you are staying in your seats to keep those seatbelts comfortably fastened for your safety. Onboard computer showing an on-time arrival, no ATC delays either. We're going to stay quiet up here, have you enjoy the flight and the service. Once again, welcome aboard.
Okay. All right, seatbelts are off back there. All right, so let's get over here. And I told you this really doesn't lead to page 2 like it needs to. Okay, and maybe ZIBO will fix it, maybe they won't. Folks, it's free. I love this plane. It's the quality those of us that came from the PMDG world looking for, and it's free. Hang on a second, I'm just going to pull up a METAR. Alright, so the wind here is 100 at 15, and that is now 1 hour and 5 minutes old. That is not good. Let's see if maybe time 2100. Yeah, it's old. All right, well, we'll go with it. That's all we got. 100 at 15. Enter. Temperature 30. QNH 1009. Okay, we're coming in flaps 30, air conditioning. We're going to go ahead and turn the anti-ice off. I'm going to use brakes 3, but stand by. Let me look at the runway here. Yeah, we'll stay on brakes 3. Sorry, folks, you're going to get kind of stomped on here. We'll do a little bit of southwest landing. Don't know what this stands for. Speed brakes, auto, reverse. We don't get a credit for it, folks. And our landing weight is estimated at 124.2. And nope, I don't want that. We'll go 5. I like to add a little cushion on my VREF. All right, see that little triangle? That means we have a page 2, which is giving us some information here. For instance, 142 knots, VREF plus or VREF flap 30 plus 5 knots. So that means 137 currently is our VREF. We're set for brake 3. Here's where brake 3 will put us about 2/3 of the way down. We'll be able to taxi back. Looks great. All right, let's see where we are now in reference. I do want to look at some things on the legs page. Okay, Lenar. Let's go for 2,000 here. There we go. That way it sets up better. All right, so we are really ready to go. And I see Bad Attitude replied. You can find this ZIBO, or I'm sorry, SimBrief 2 ZIBO plugin at the xplane.org forum if you Google it. So we'll check that out. We're not right now planning another ZIBO flight this week. Tomorrow, all willing, we're going to do a little bit longer flight. We'll see how we feel before I commit 100% to it. We're going to go from Leipzig, Germany, down to Bahrain. In the X-Works A330 200 people to freight aircraft. Megabit, welcome in. Nice to have you aboard. If you were streaming today, hope it went well. Didn't get an email. So I'm assuming you may be on the quiet side or in the preparation side. And folks, don't get used to my deep voice here today. It's my sickly voice. Okay, so Megabits, not tonight, but back into it tomorrow. Good to hear, sir. Welcome in. Glad to hear you're doing great. Like I said, we're going to be flying out of Germany tomorrow for Bahrain. So that ought to be fun for DHL. And I don't know of any DHL good that I would like to fly for DHL VAs out there. Plus, I fly for a lot, so I don't really need any more on my plate. Awesome. Still flying. Cool. So yeah, I've got a lot of VAs on my plate. We've whittled one away. So. All right. Yeah, we're going to try a DHL one tomorrow. For Mac Air. No, they're not the one I whittled away, obviously. Really love flying for Mac Air. Really highly recommend them, by the way, folks. You are looking for a VA and you're looking for one that has a little bit, you know, they all have a structure to them, folks, but they're not overbearing. They have great technology. They're bringing Smart Cars 3 online, and right there's where to check them out. So you join in the open division. They have 3 others, historic, and take a guess what that means. Cargo, that one's a tough one too. Charter, little different. You can join those almost right out of the bat, folks. Just get your first flight in. All charter does is if they don't have that route with that airplane you want to fly, charter it. And that's fine. Really great. I mean, folks, they have just about every airplane available and probably just about every airline in their systems. Now, you have to find them if you want to fly them in those colors. So, but folks, they're not requiring it. So, and they have substitutions. Say, well, it calls for an Airbus to go from here to there. I don't like Airbus. Well, then fly a Boeing 737 if it's a single aisle aircraft. If it's not, if it's dual aisle, go to the 67. They're that flexible, folks, where some airlines aren't. So check them out. Again, you got the link up there. Great airline, great bunch. And if you haven't keyed in on it, macairvirtual.com. Yes, that is the one, the only, the legend, Mac Air, who is on YouTube. And he's the one that got me into streaming, by the way. So along with Hawker, I'm not going to put you to the side under the bus going ba-dum ba-dum. Both of those got me into streaming here, folks. Mac Air showing me just how simple it looks watching him, and Hawker just pushing the heck out of me. All right, looks like we got us a cell right ahead of us. Let's see how far we are to top of descent. 122 miles. If you noticed, I have not set the speed yet for the 737. I'm kind of letting us get a little closer. Then we're going to hit the brakes, Goose. All right, folks, so let's just continue on to Jamaica. And we have an updated weather. How about that? That's what I was kind of hoping for. Let's go over here. Go back. We now have 90 at 17. 0, 9, 0, diagonal 1, 7. Now there is a way to... Well, they don't have a gust now. They were having gusts. Oh, wait, that was Fort Lauderdale. Disregard. But if you did, there is a way to plan that. I don't understand it. 29. 109, 30, everything else looks good. And probably not much change. Nope. Just 140 now on our V. Plus 8. Whoa. There we go, 142. Still the same, 137. All right, so there we go, folks. We're in a commercial break, so bear with them. Now, we got a couple of months on this, folks. I just happened to look over on mine. That's not into the system here. Welcome back, folks, from the commercial break. I was kind of watching what was on my computer, Apple TV. You know, there's a show coming to it. I want to give it a couple of plugs here. You might hear it a couple more times. How many of you seen, raise your hands, Band of Brothers? If you haven't, a fantastic series HBO put out in the very early 2000 time frame. Spielberg and Hanks, I believe, were either director, producers, whatever. But anyway, just marvelous work they did. Then, a few years later, they came out with The Pacific. Now, if you're not familiar with the Band of Brothers, they followed World War II. A Ranger, you can't think of the other one. But anyway, Easy Company from Fort Benning, where they trained all the way to the war, and they jumped into D-Day, and from there on to the end of the war. A band of brothers. Obviously, they went through you-know-what. The Pacific, kind of the same way, followed a group of people. Really was a little different just because it's a lot different type of war fought there in the Pacific. Well, now they're coming out with the third installment. It took a while. And I gotta get the name of it. Hang on a second. It's basically around the 8th Air Force. Hang on, I think I found it. Heroes of the Sky, the mighty 8th Air Force. Now, if you're not familiar with what the 8th Air Force was in World War II, it's the B-17, B-24s. I think the B-25s were part of it. Anyway, they took a beating. The Brits told them you cannot bomb Germany by day. They did it by day. And at many times, they were in missions beyond the reach of fighter escort cover. Very heavy losses. But they were the ones to suppress the German industries that were building up the war machine so well. They were pounding it with overhead bombing, and their goal was to put the bomb in a pickle barrel, and they were pretty close most of the time. I mean, granted, you're gonna, it's not gonna always go, but the Norton bomb sight and all the stuff that was in those planes, it was amazing what they were able to do. The formations they flew protected the planes, because each plane had their guns plus their guns on each other, protecting the whole group. And by the end of the war, over 1,000 bombers would be in the air. Granted, when the P-51 came out, they helped to extend lifespans of these crews because they could follow them all the way to Berlin. Anyway, all of that said, Apple TV is going to be showing this. Now, HBO showed Band of Brothers and Pacific way back. Don't know anything about that backstory, why HBO didn't pick it up, whatever. But Apple TV right now is going to be running it at the beginning of next year. So if you're into that kind of historical knowledge, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to watch it because I don't have Apple TV. Doesn't really, as a channel, excite me to come to it other than that show. So I don't know. But yeah, that's coming next year. And I just watched the trailer for it. Oh, I'd really want to see this. So, anyway, long story short, folks, look what's on the nav display at about 60 miles out. Top of descent. So, with that, let's get into our descent checks, shall we? Okay, so center fuel pumps, I don't think we ever had them on, and there's no fuel in them, so that's good. AP and FMC checks were done. Descent altitude, we'll get that set probably between 40 and 20. And we'll go ahead and go into continues again up here. And finally, let's get our speed in here. Let's do our last check. Right, and okay, to put the speed in, go to init ref. 139, 37 is what we're planning. We'll go with it. It's not, you know, that's not going to be a deal breaker for wind correction +5, all looks good. All right, and I think we just got a, no we did not, I thought I heard a ding. All right, and when we get under 40, I can set us to 3,000 feet. Currently, there is no ATC in Jamaica. I am going to stay off ATC. We haven't been in all day. It's not fair to Florida. Usually I'll come up with Florida, although they kind of rub me sometimes, where don't know why they do what they do. I know why they do what they do. Don't need to talk about it. But I don't want to, you know, be that kind of guy that, oh, I'll come up because there's no ATC. So again, my apologies. I do have a cold. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little better. And that's what we're hoping for. We had a pretty rough night at work. Not work, it was just my body. So that's just old age and sickness. So, and I'm not really old age, but still getting older. Let's put it that way. All right. I haven't seen that, so I just thought I'd put that up there, what our verse of the day is. It's really actually, you know, yesterday that's a really good verse I could have used. So, and for those of you in the YouTube world that can't see it, you would have seen it in the beginning, but you know, hey, whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life. Whoever ignores correction leads others astray. It came from Proverbs chapter 10. It's really, like I said, yesterday that proverb really fits the bill hitting me today. And so anyway, let's continue on. I just saw that today and said, yep, we're going to go ahead and post that one. All right, we just dropped under 40 miles. Let's set 3,000 here. Will let us drift in a little closer, about 10 miles out. I'll get us into our descent. Actually, this is really bothering me, so I'm going to turn it off. It's still doing it. Okay. Sometimes the terrain radar doesn't like one. Alright, real quick, I'm going to bring up some toolkit just so you can see what's ahead of us. So you can see we just came over Cuba. Here's all of that little green you see around us. Up ahead. Let me try Skyvent. And let me turn on. It's on. Okay, the radar is down here on compatible. Okay. See if Navgraph will bring. Okay, it's showing a little bit. We have a scattering of thunderstorms just off the coast and around the area. See that? Again, a neat feature that just came with the release of charts, Navgraph Charts 8. Just a sorry, folks, did not want to sneeze in your ears. Oh, love this cold. Love to hate it. Anyway, you can see how it's going to wrap itself in there. But you see how this overlays on, and it really helps. I like using the terrain. It really lets me know what I'm dealing with. Okay, so let's say we lose an engine here. Or we going out and decide let's go here. It gives me an idea what we have to choose from, here or here. Obviously, not many options. So, but it's really nice to have that weather option. Telemetry's down here. Only thing would be neat is if it was some way I could put it up to sorry about that, had a sniffle. Get up here to my overlay instead of using some toolkit. But anyway, I just wanted to show what we have coming. And I hit the wrong. There we go. All right, we are inside where I said we would be. We are 11 out. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. Okay, you could click descent. Now, for those always curious, how do I put my transition level in? Go to forecast. Boom, right there, whatever it is. West descent winds. This is a cool feature. Load. Huh, sure didn't see him come in. Sorry, folks. So go back, you got descent now there. And you can always use the altitude intervene button. I'm going to use that. Either one works, put you in descent. 112 miles now to our destination. And we're going to start coming down. Now, let me come on down here, but I'm going to more focus right here. Airbus guys, you're used to a little green dot coming down this way. Gets in between here and like here, and you know you're in your managed descent, right? Boeing works a little different, and you get a neat little squiggly line to tell you where that is. Your glide slope line here, that's what I like to call it. See, it looks like a glide slope here. Once it gets within the number right here, you are in that same managed profile. Granted, not for an Airbus, but for a Boeing, for this particular approach. Okay. Little different imagery, but the same general information. Okay. So instead of a little circle, you got a little glide slope triangle, diamond over here. You don't have this in Airbus. All right, folks. So let me pop back up. Let's see how we're doing. And we'll let it come down a little bit before we put the seatbelt sign on. looks like we may get a pretty good sunset. Let's see here. Look at that, folks. Get a good picture of this. Bear with me a second. I'm getting a screenshot. And oh my goodness, does that look really nice. Oh. Alright, got that all taken care of, folks. Sorry for that, just had to. Okay, we're at 28. I am going to try something here on the fly. Oh, yeah, that worked perfect. Oh yeah, all worked out perfect. All right, we'll show the work that we just did, folks. Don't worry. All right, we're through 26,000. Let's get into this. All right, so we are going to engines are in continuous. Fasten seatbelts. We're doing it now, and we're going to keep the wing lights off a little longer. Curious if they're going to say anything.
Seatbelt sign has been switched on. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been switched off.
All right, I thought they did say something.
Folks from the flight deck, we've started our descent. Should have you on the ground in about 15 minutes. Want to thank you so much for your company and business, and hope to see you again with us sometime very soon.
All right, left that to the pilot. Okay, so there we have it, folks. We have announced to our pilot crews our intentions, and there we go. And finally, we'll begin setting up our approaches here. Next up is ADSEL. Remember, we're aiming for 3,000 at our turn point. And now let's program all of that. Oh my goodness. All right, folks, and I know right now we are at commercial break, so. All right, Sangster, where are you? 157. 570. Alright folks, I wanted to at least show you what I'm doing here. We're setting up our VOR to track. I'm going to go ahead and put it in over here as well. Just so what you would do here, because this is a little different to a lot of you guys. Basic is very simple though. You set your mode here, GLS, ILS, or VOR. Then just push the buttons. And then standby, active. Now move it up to active. I am actually going to put, well, just in case, Montego Bay. Kingston. I know there's a chart there. 1550. Just in case, on a fluke, we have to go to it. Alright, and our final approach course, 071. Alright, so now, let's tune this down a little. You can see, we just crossed transition. We'll get to that in a second. So we're going to track, once we get to ADSEL, straight in on the where's ADSEL? 140 radio. Actually, let's do that real quick. Then once we hit the arc, we'll switch it. Okay, current information here reads 1009. Okay. And by the way, this altimeter, and your FO pilot, your left-right seater is set. Reason I got to be careful saying that, folks, is that guy's allowed to fly. And the pilot captain isn't supposed to be the only one flying. He has to know how to fly the plane. What happens if something happens to the captain? Alright, we're going to go ahead and intervene on our speed and start slowing it down. And we're going to use speed brakes so we can keep our descent. Alright, and here we go. So, nice lightning. Oh, what a beautiful approach today, folks. Here's those storms I talked about offshore, working their way towards us. Okay. Almost to the speed I want. Okay, and what we're going to do is enter at 240, but we're going to slow in this portion of the arc here to 220. This is just me, folks. This is where it's pilot preference. And then I'm going to fly that last leg at 210 so that we can make that nice transition direct to the runway. The nice thing about a landing at this time frame, we may see the lights and be able to line up visually. Maybe. There's Jamaica right in the distance. This sucker's kicking up a lot of lightning. Okay, we're at 240. Let's pull the speed brakes in. 10,000. Guess what? Not only the lights, but I'm also going to announce
Dunsburg for landing, please.
all right, here we go, folks. Again, VREF 139. If you ever can't remember, it's right down here on your PFD in the 737. Actually, in a lot of aircraft, it's right there. Okay, we're going into the cell. So I guess it is a good thing I left the wing heat on, or the engine ice on. All right, a little bumpy through here. And let's go ahead, get our auto brakes set up. And there's the island, folks. Now, if you don't think you're going to make your speeds, take over, because we may have to. Okay, so we're 14 miles out and 87 miles out of our alternate if we need it. All right, and we are about to make that first turn, so I'm going to go ahead and start bringing us down to 220. Okay, we'll go ahead and as requested. I am gonna just want to take it easy. I want to make sure we're at 3,000 so I can turn in. This is something I'm not really good at, flying arcs, so I let the airplane do a lot of it. However, when we get to this decel point, I'm going to be controlling it. As best I can. And basically, folks, what I understand is it's a use of this gauge here as you gauge your way around it. Okay, so I am ready.
To go.
And again, forgive me with this cough. All right, let me all right, helps to be on the right numbers, Mike. Like I said, we're going to be looking for the runway, the possibility of it right there.
TASNO go.
Okay, now airspeed to 160. Worst case, we may have to go around. Let's see if we can't S-turn this in. Like I said, VOR approaches I'm not the greatest at. I think we've got this. All right. Still a little high, but we're making up for it. We'll get our speed coming up a little. Let's call it stable. Whatever's kicking us. That's what it is, a 14-knot wind. Hang on. Sorry, folks. Welcome to Sangster.
80 knots.
Reverse off. Brakes off. Welcome to Jamaica, folks. All right, let's get this bird all cleaned up. Laps are up. Brakes are off. Okay, and all right, folks. Maybe not the greatest, but hey, I'll take a 382 foot a minute landing in that crosswind. That was pretty fun. And losing of the altitude like we had. All right, so let's get off, off. And off. I thought we turned that off. There we go. All right. I don't know where we want to park here, folks. Let's just take a look. Oh, turned a little early. Oops. I'll say this much, folks. That is a fun approach. I have been in here before. It's Montego Bay I need to go to. Kinston. You know what? I think take this one right up here. All right, folks, we're into blocks. Again, hope you enjoyed the ride. It was actually pretty fun, barring the cold. Hour 26 minutes to the blocks. Let's get on here, finish this up. All right, went one too high. All right, if it wasn't for this cold, it wouldn't have been a bad flight. But they happen this time of the year. All right, so seatbelts, we'll go ahead and turn those off. Real quick trim. Let's get that to a point. 4 units. That looks good. All right, probe heat off. Landing lights all off, and APU on, and generator on. Lead on. Let's go ahead and turn them off. I really hate this. Another little pet peeve. My mouse doesn't hold them. There we go. All right, and okay, working through it from here. Generators are on. Fasten seatbelts set. Starters off. Transponder. Well, we weren't really on VATSIM, so it doesn't really matter, but we'll still follow the procedure. External lights are all gonna stay on as is, and folks, we are in good old Sangster, Jamaica. Let's get those beacons off. We can do that. Okay. All right, let's do some number crunching here. First off, wow, little harsh there from Smart Cars 3, 522 feet. It called a little harsh. All right, let me just like to make sure this is a new system they're using. Updated system. Let me rephrase that. Updated. Okay, it did get received. That's all we want to see from that. All right, nothing else for me to do there. And looking across, let me just make sure I venture through the chat one time, make sure I didn't miss anyone. All right, doesn't look like Megabit was, yeah, I remember talking with him. All right, it looks like we got everyone. Now, Sim Toolkit has us at 382 feet a minute, as you're about to see. So what I'm going to do is unload this, that, edit, doink, and doink, delete. And off and off. Okay. Trying to get as many things shut down here as possible to help us. Don't need them either. And finally, here comes a Sim Toolkit. If I can just find it again. There it is. All right. So we still have charts up here. Give me a second. We'll unload and remove. Okay, so you can see the 382 finishing the flight. A few more coughs in there. All right, there it is, folks. Click on it. There's the route we took to get here. Little S-turns to get in, but not bad. Flying time, 1 hour and 37 minutes. Went 471 miles, burned 3.3 3.4 kilos of fuel. Landed at 170. Man, none of this looked that rough. Minus 382 at 124 knots. Little slow, so that helps in making it maybe a little rough. All right. Well, interesting setup here. All right, so the actual threshold is here. The aiming bars are here, which are about 1,500 feet down the runway from the threshold. So it's really hard to determine when they do it this way. And it's just because Google, or in this case, Leaflet's map is slightly different than what X-Plane used. Okay. So we landed in, if Leaflet is what we should go by, within the first 500 feet of the runway. I'm fine with that, folks. That's a good landing. Here's all the particulars. We were in a crosswind. So again, being off by a little bit on our heading. Pitch, that we may have to look at if it'll let us. And overall, everything looks good. All right, here we go. Let's see if we get to replay it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think the computer locked. It did. Crud. All right. Well, we're not going to be able to review the flight. Bummer. All right. Well, anyway, folks, we had a great time. Overall, my only concern was that I had to do so many S-curves to get in there. Of course, we couldn't see it, but we got the aircraft on the ground. A little short of the aiming bars, but you know what? We're still in the landing zone, and that's a good landing in my book, and we walked away from it. Barring any change in condition in me, tomorrow's flight will be, where's my schedule? Get it exact here for you. Tomorrow we're going to fly Les Pig Hale Airport in Jamaica to Bahrain International in, oddly enough, Bahrain. So hope y'all can join us. We're going to try to kick off early, folks, right now. If I can't get that long of a flight in tomorrow because of how I feel, we'll let you know on Discord. For those who don't have my Discord channel, I'm going to try something here. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. It didn't. Bear with me. I do have a backup. Compliments, because Stream Elements has been such poo-poo lately. That is an official aviation term. But folks, we're going to wrap things up right now and say thank you for flying with Mike. And I really hope we're going to be able to be in the sky tomorrow. And who knows, maybe we'll get to replay a flight. So, but again, thank you for being a part. Thank you, Bad Attitude, for the great information you gave us there about the, hang on a second, I'll get it right for you. The plugin called SimBrief2 ZIBO. You can find it at the org forum for X-Plane. Simply Google it. Mr. Google will get you everywhere. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully things will be a little better with my voice and a little better with my sniffles and coughs. Again, God bless, and have a great day.
Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.